Welcome to Interest Rates in Your Pension. My name is Justin Rucci. I'm a certified financial planner with Warren Street Wealth. I am joined by Len Hansen, who is also an advisor at Warren Street and a Chevron veteran, a former Chevron employee and current retiree who is well-versed in all things Chevron. And today we're going to go over how interest rates impact your pension benefit and some of the things that you should be looking at and considering as these changes in the market continue to take place. Before we get started, just a quick disclosure here. We are a registered investment advisor. So if you would like a copy of our Form ADV, you can give us a call, 714-876-6200, or send an email to info@warrenstreetwealth.com and we can get you a copy. So how do interest rates impact pension? In the simplest form, if interest rates fall like they've done over the past several years, your lump sum pension value will increase. So chances are, if you've been paying attention to your pension over the last few years, as interest rates have continued to fall further and further, your pension value has gone higher and higher. Now, some of that is due to just age and years of service credits, but some of that is based on interest rates falling. And the inverse is also the case. And so this is why this has become a popular topic of late is if interest rates rise, your pension value can actually decrease. And so we've seen cases or we've had questions about this because interest rates have continued to fall, and no one knows for sure if they will continue to fall further. People have tried to call the bottom of interest rates for the past few years and have been wrong. But the Fed has indicated that at some point interest rates will normalize. They will likely go up at some point. No one knows for sure exactly when that will actually end up happening. They have their projected schedules, but we've seen in the market that interest rates can jump on a day's notice. So in simplest form, interest rates fall, your pension value will likely go up. Interest rates rise, your pension value will likely decrease. The interest rates are based on the IRS segment rate, which is available on the IRS website, should you want to look that up. So what should you actually do? So this one, Len and I want to talk to you about these 3 bullet points. So the first is run a projection of your benefits to see what the current value is. So this, we've done 1 million of these. Len has done 1 million of these. So if you're not sure how to do it, Len, you want to just kind of quickly describe how somebody can do that?
Yeah. So when you're at work, there's typically a login page for you to look at your pension. When you're not at work, you got to go to Chevron Benefit Connect to do a pension estimate. I've done several of these. When I was working, I retired 5.5 years ago. When I was working, I was doing these weekly to see what my pension was, which was a waste of time, but I did it anyways. It was trying to keep track of how the pension worked. And if you're getting close to retirement, you're probably doing this yourself. If you don't know how to do it, give us a call. I can show you how to start the projections, and then once you learn how to do it, you can check in periodically to see where your pension has gone, and you watch interest rates. As interest rates move, you can see the changes to your lump sum.
Yep. And so number 2 is if you're looking at retiring somewhat in the near future, call it 12 to 24 months or less, you may want to reassess your retirement timeline. And the reason we say that is there is a potential, if you've been in Chevron a long time and you have a large pension benefit, there is a potential that interest rates, interest rates rise, your pension decreases by an amount that kind of counters whatever wages you earn. So if you wanted to work an extra 6 months and interest rates rise during those 6 months, it's possible your pension value falls by an amount equal to or more than what you earned in those 6 months of working. And so that's obviously what we want to avoid. We don't want you to work 6 months for free. And so if you are looking at retiring the next 12 to 24 months, definitely reach out to us or reassess your plan. I mean, Len, you had this come up with a client that wanted to retire soon. If you want to kind of outline that example of what happened to them.
It's actually a couple of people just recently. We described the issues with interest rates and how that can affect your pension. And I showed them how to do the projections themselves. They actually called me and asked me what's going on because their pensions did drop significantly. This is back in April, and it it spooked them, obviously, and they could see that the small move in interest rates really affected their lump sum. So basically, we can do the same for you. Set you up so you can so you know how to calculate it and do you can actually look out several years if you wanted to see what that pension might look like, and then change the interest rates within that system to see how that would affect your lump sum also. So yeah, it was a significant move for both of these guys, and basically one of them lost $50,000 in that move in April. Now it came back a little bit because interest rates did come back down a little bit, but now we're having another spike and we're getting close to where we were in April. And so these same individuals are going to see their pension numbers probably drop again somewhere around the April level. So that's just important to understand how that works and how that can hurt you long term. Like Justin said, you're planning to work another 6 months into next year, maybe try to take advantage of the vacation and take that vacation but that ultimately, if interest rates really rise, you work your 6 months and your pension drops $50,000. It didn't do you any good to hold on and get that extra vacation time in 2022. So it's just something you should think about, and that's what we're doing in this video.
Yep. Yeah, and then lastly, if your retirement timeline's further out, certainly you can still check your benefit and see how interest rates will impact it, but interest rate movements alone is not enough reason to retire. And so if you want to retire just because you're afraid of interest rates, that's likely a mistake. You definitely want to look at the numbers. We'd hate to see somebody retire early because they're afraid of interest rate movements when they're not financially or maybe emotionally ready to actually retire otherwise. And so if this is where you are, we can still look at the numbers. Maybe you can afford to retire early and you want to go ahead and do that. But I think the main point of this last bullet point is just don't retire because you're afraid of interest rates. You got to make sure everything else of your financial plan lines up as well. Len, in this case, I mean, you've seen the years in which the pension value and service credits really add up. It's usually in your 50s. Is that right?
Yeah, usually in your 50s is where it starts to accelerate. 50s to 60s, it plateaus at 60 and really won't grow beyond that. So if you are 60 and thinking about working a couple of years and thinking your pension is going to grow, that's not likely. It's most likely going to go down from, if you're 60 years old or older, it's most likely going to go down from here if interest rates rise, because the credits don't build after you're 60 years old. But if you're in your 50s, that's where it really starts to grow. And so even though interest rates might be going up and you're losing money on because of interest rates, you're likely still gaining because of the years of service, and your age will outweigh those interest rates. Obviously, I don't know where interest rates are going to go, how far, and how quickly. And if it's going to, I don't think it would completely wipe out any gains from those extra years of service unless we go into the 1980s again, those interest rates, or late 70s, early 80s. I don't think we're heading to that anytime soon, but that would be the only time I would think that it would the concern would be interest rates. I don't think they're going that far. Right.
Yeah. And to Len's point, who knows where interest rates, they might go up in the next couple of years, but if your retirement is 5 or 10 years out, who knows where they'll be 5 or 10 years from now. They might be back down to where they are today.
Right.
So that's it for us. If you have any questions, like Len said, reach out. If you go to warrenstreetwealth.com, there's the ability to schedule time with Len right on the website. If you want to give us a call, our main office number is 714-876-6200. You can send us an email, info@warrenstreetwealth.com, or Len @warrenstreetwealth.com. And we're happy to help you with any specific questions to your particular situation. Thank you for watching.